I will never get tired of seeing that mugshot of Frank Sinatra.
Right?
Never,
Do you
never.
know why he was arrested?
Yeah, seduction. He hit on. Well, okay.
Yeah, you're right.
It's two. There's two different stories, but I got to talk about this
So
show with
you're in
you.
New York. You love Frank, though. You love
Oh my
your.
God. You know what? Growing up, my dad used to make us listen to him for these 8 hour car rides, and I hated it. I hated it.
Me too. Same
Now,
thing. My dad was like, he's the best singer. So no, Elvis is the best singer. I said, well, listen to Frank, and I did, and I was like, you might be right, Dad. I'm doing a couple of projects surrounding the kidnapping of Frank Sinatra Jr., which is really exciting. But we'll
oh
talk
my
about
gosh,
that one.
we got to talk Big Shot.
All right.
I have to tell you, I was hooked with the first line. I wrote it down. It's with your character. You're in there, and they say, "I found something. It's not something that you want. It's a job, which is what you need." A way back in, I
Right.
just felt like that line was so it was so telling. I don't know why it resonated with me.
Wow. Yeah, I haven't thought about that, but you're right because I mean, not that he was canceled, but this culture is going on, and he made a grave mistake, and he had to. Some guys can redeem themselves, and he gets a shot. His shot is these girls to do a show like that, to play a character like this, thrown into an all girl basketball team, a cast like this. It could be dangerous, but I'm so proud that I feel that Coach Korn comes in and he releases these assumptions that he has of these girls, these stereotypes, and he connects with them, and I think there was some article written early on, and they hadn't seen the show. No, this guy goes in, like, no, it's not to him. Yes, it is a step down. Of course it is. I mean, come on, but then once he gets there, he realizes, no, 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 that they're just as important, maybe more important than where I came from. And if you watch all the way through 10, he has a choice to make, and we'll see where he goes.
Also, I'm so drawn to the title of this show too, Big Shot, right? So obviously you're talking about basketball, so it could be shot, or you get the one shot, or you're the big shot. Can you tell me about, I keep thinking about like your first big shot. Do you remember your first big shot in this business?
Oh yeah, of course I do. But I'll tell you, who came up with that name?
Who?
Me. It was called it was there's all these other names. It was called the Big Ugly, or the Big Terrible, or Terrible, something stupid. And I said, no, 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 no. And they were just trying, and it's hard to find a title. And at the time Ricky Strauss was the president, and I just pelted him. I said, Big Shot. My big shot was General Hospital, and I was 18, and I was like these girls. That's the connection for me. I look at them; they're fearless. They walk on the set, boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, you know. And that was my big shot. And it was interesting because I had a choice. I always wanted to be in sitcoms. I wanted to be funny, and General Hospital was a gigantic show in the 80s. So many people, and it was very popular. I was at the peak of my popularity on that show, and my contract was up. And I said, I'm gonna leave. And they were like, are you kidding? The Gloria Monty, the producer, took me to lunch. He said, you're not leaving, dear. I said, yeah, I have to, Gloria. I appreciate everything you've done, but it's time to go. I want to. And she said, you'll never work in this town again. And I said, oh yeah, watch me. I wish I had that chutzpah now, but that was my big shot.
I think about that a lot often. I'm going to steal this one from the show. So they say, name one thing other than basketball that brings you joy right now. So I will say, name one thing other than this show that is bringing you joy right now.
My family, of course, my
Yeah.
family. My son. I have a 3-year-old son. This pandemic threw everybody into a thing. Like, who was? How vulnerable were we? Like, we didn't even. And also, when it hit, you feel so out of control. And then by this point, to me anyway, I go, we've never been in control. We have control of nothing. Just enjoy the moment, enjoy this interview. But to go into his room, he loves to laugh. He giggles. He's like, since he was a little kid, he just laugh at anything. And at first it was like, hey, you're faking it, kid. No, but then you go, oh, that's so beautiful. So that's been my highlight of my life, and certainly during these dark times, to go play with my little guy, and he just starts
Awesome.
laughing.
And last question, can we just geek out over the fact that you were in a show that it's a Disney show? I know what a Disney fan you are.
No, of course, and it's what a perfect time to be on Disney Plus. I mean, to be anywhere in the world is to be Disney Plus. The parks are closed for the most part, certainly the one here. And I think if you go on Disney Plus, you feel kind of connected to Disney. You can watch these behind the scenes thing, and Yeah, I am geeky. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Anything, Tom, I've done some things over the years with Disney, but this is the biggest, and I'm very proud of it.
This is pretty cool for me
Are you
because
Disney?
I
Yeah.
grew up watching you. The only
Yeah.
difference is I've aged and you haven't, so something's not
Well,
right.
you look great. You look great. Where are you? Are you in New York? Oh, I guess you are, huh?
Yeah, I'm in New York City. In New York
That's so
City.
cool. Did you ever
Yeah.
see Sinatra? Did you ever get a chance? You're probably too young, huh?
Oh God, no. But you know what? I've only seen my father cry once in my life.
Yeah.
I came downstairs in the morning and he was sobbing and
Uh,
Frank was on the radio. And it was the
uh,
day that Frank Sinatra died.
wow. I got to take my dad. I mean, this is one of the great things of making it, or well, whatever I've become. I took him to a Sinatra was playing thing, and Don Rickles was opening up, and I later became very close with Don,
Of course.
and so Don comes on, and Frank comes on, and my dad, my dad's like this, and then Rickles comes out and introduces the celebrities in the audience, and it's Tony Danza and this guy and John Stamos and my dad and I, and I didn't stand up. I was kind of embarrassed. And Rickles says, where is he in the cheap seats? Is he sitting in the grass? And Frank Sinatra grabs the microphone from Rickles and says, "Smoke one for me, Johnny." And I was like, okay, that's it. I could die. And my dad was, so proud. He was so proud. We went backstage and took pictures with Frank. And my dad stood back and just watched. He said, "No, I just want to." But my mom, grabbed his ass, and that was, Jilly Rizzo came and beat us up, and that was that. But it's pretty cool.